So, but you're talking about the sexual imagery in your work. I mean, some of it though is like at the same time it's grotesque, but it's in this beautiful way though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really sensual work. I mean, especially like with the ice cream body things.
Yeah.
And I know like you told me before, like you had like this story behind like every piece of imagery in your work.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could talk a little bit about that. And I know like some of it is like, I don't know if it's overtly Christian imagery, but some of it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been interested with iconography, and I think that's like was my main attraction to art in the sense of being able to say something through this visual language, you know, just like the definition of iconography, like one thing represents some other thing. I think my attraction to that and like my Christian upbringing really got me into researching the ways that this was done throughout the Christian church, and in that I like bringing back some of those symbols, you know, and playing with some of the connotations that they hold and everything. But I think, you know, in terms of like mixing that with contemporary culture and getting like using contemporary icons that are, you know, not of the church and everything like that is important too. And a lot of the sexual imagery that I put in there has gotten away from that sensuous quality that I was going for beforehand, because it felt a little like too much like a erotica or pornography, you know, and I wasn't really trying to represent any sort of beautiful side of anything, but more in the sense of how like commercialized sexuality and sex has become, you know, and that's kind of where the marriage of food imagery comes into the things, you know, just because you can just see it as a form of consumption, you know, it's something that kind of keeps the commercialism and keeps the capitalism going. And like I said, I'm not critiquing religion or anything, I'm not critiquing those systems, but I just think it's something to be aware of in the sense that, you know, so much marketing is, you know, done with sex, and so I find myself kind of being attracted to making the viewers of my paintings aware of that by, you know, putting huge cone, like, you know, heads of ice cream and they're dripping all over the bodies, but yeah, I can't wait for you to see some of the new drawings there. They're not pretty, you know, they're gross, you know. Like, I really got to this point where I was like really bored, and you know, I think that's like the biggest thing that's driving my work right now is what's going to keep me interested in making it, you know, like what's going to keep me saying like getting up, you know, I'll get up and I'll have a pot of coffee and work for 4 hours, you know, like, you know, 4 hours straight, that's, you know, hard to do. But I think like making it honest and making it truthful and keeping pushing the level of grotesqueness is something that I'm interested in and something that I'm scared of and nervous about.
But you use this really beautiful color palette though too, though.
Yeah, I mean, but even that is kind of commercial, you know, like I really try to strive for the most, not obnoxious, but the most eye-catching thing, you know, so color theory is a huge big part of it, and yeah, I do, I kind of feel like I try to make it feel a little Disney, you know, a little bit safe and comforting, and then when you kind of are taking a closer look, you're realizing what is really going on in the painting. So yeah, I try to be conscious of all those things that the viewer is going to naturally feel comforted by because of our, you know, common America link. You know, we're all stewed in that Disney culture and Google and everything else, you know, so it's like, how can I use that, like my awareness of that system, my awareness of everyone having these common experiences, how can I use that to manipulate the viewer into feeling what I'm feeling, you know?
So what do you got going on right now?
Well, I have a couple projects going on. A couple of them are the system-oriented stuff that I was talking about, and just strictly not even doing anything visual off that, but just thinking about the system in the way of like installing myself into a system. I've whined to you about the language requirement thing here with the BFAs, and so I've got my proposal going through the system at the U to change this language requirement, and so it's past 2 of the 4 steps it needs to pass to actually make it legitimate, and so I'll be following that through, and then I've also doing this other project that was system orientated too, in the sense that I like the way that we legitimize artists in the art world, you know, and I thought a big thing that I kept hearing, you know, would be like taglines about people, you know, like they showed it in Berlin. Oh, they were this age when they did this. Oh, they were, you know, these taglines, these anecdotes that we can attach and like simplify people to these sentences that we attach behind their name. And so I found this loophole in the system of the Minnesota State Arts Board system to help me like become the youngest person ever to receive a grant, because you can't receive it when you're in school, but you can apply for it when you're in school. And since I graduated at an odd semester, you know, I didn't graduate in the spring, in the fall, then I was eligible for it because I could apply for it and receive the money like, I don't know, 3 days after I graduated or something like that. So then I'm trying to figure out if I actually am the youngest person, and then use that grant money that I got to set up shop and create a couple projects and work on the show that a local curator, Emma Berg, put me in. And so it's just basically producing art, you know, like waking up and working for 4 hours until lunch, and then taking a break and working until 5 o'clock when I come in.
Living the dream.
Yeah, kind of. It's not. I mean, it's not. You know, now that I'm out of school, and like I spend my whole like time in school complaining about, man, there's never enough time to make work. That's always a problem, you know, because it's so hard to find time. And then when you actually find the time, there's so many distractions, you know. Like I've taken to listening to audiobooks because I can't just listen to music anymore, because I have to have like so much to keep it fresh and new. And then the audiobook will make me want to watch like a DVD or something about the person who wrote it. Or, so like I only paid for like 2 hours or something.
That's the way the process goes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that show though, where will that be?
That'll be at Fox Tax.
Okay.
It's this new gallery over in Northeast, and they run a really great tax agency out of it too. It's a tax agency pretty much for artists. And I hear they do really good work. At least I'm hoping they do, because I think they'll be doing the taxes this year. So, yeah, we'll see.
Well, it's great. I'll put a link up to your MySpace page so other people can check it out.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for sitting down.